Hi guys, today we're going to talk about the Top King Super Air boxing gloves. These are the gloves that I'm actually using at the moment, and they're not a bad glove, so let's just take a look. Let me just switch the camera around. So these are the Top King Super Air boxing glove. The product code is TKBGSA. These are actually quite an old pair of the boxing gloves because the logo here, they've changed this now. It's a silver logo, and instead of saying Top King Boxing, it's got TKB, silver logo. So these are the boxing gloves that I'm using at the moment for pad and bag work. They're quite a decent boxing glove. There's nothing really amazing about them. The foam's just began to misshape in this boxing glove here, and this is something that you need to bear in mind when you're using boxing gloves on pad and bag, the pads and the bags, because in the boxing gloves they use a softer foam in comparison to bag gloves, so it gets compacted more quickly than a traditional bag glove. Okay, let's just turn this over. So as I mentioned, these are the Super Air gloves. So when they talk about the air, they're talking about this mesh part here, and we spoke about it before. Basically, having a mesh here just helps the gloves to dry out a little bit quicker and helps with glove smell, because usually when it's full leather here, you will have some small ventilation just around this area, and those gloves do suffer from glove smell quite badly. The Super Air gloves, when you compare them to the other Top King models, these ones are slightly more narrow. So when you put your hand in these gloves, they feel a lot more snug, a lot more compact. Can't actually get hand wraps on when I wear these gloves. These are 10 ounce, these gloves. But the wrist support is adequate, so because the wrist support's adequate, don't really need hand wraps. But I've always got to bear in mind that when I hit the pad, that I've got to think about my wrist position and make sure that it's not bent, because if it is, then I'm going to strain my wrist straight away. So if I just open up the Velcro here, I'll show you the Velcro closure. It's a traditional Velcro closure, just a full wraparound closure. So obviously you put your hand in and then you just wrap Velcro closure around. So I've been using these gloves for about 3 months now. I've had them for a couple of years, but I left them in England when I went over to Thailand. So I've just started using them, and I'm just using them on the bag at the moment, and they're quite a decent glove. Like I say, these are the Top King Super Air version of the glove. So if you just look at the knuckle area here, if I was to cut this open, you would see 4 layers of foam. A lot of the boxing gloves now, they're putting 4 layers of foam into their boxing gloves. Before they would use 3 layers of foam. So they're putting an extra layer in. It just gives you a little bit more protection when you're boxing. The one thing that you do need to bear in mind is that if you are using them on the pad and the bags, that you will compact the foam. It won't happen straight away, but sometimes over a duration of time you will start to get compacted foam, and when this happens, that's when you need to change the boxing gloves. And you may be thinking, oh, why don't I just use bag gloves instead? The reason why I don't use bag gloves is that there's not really any bag gloves on the market at the moment that will give you a good wrist support, and bag gloves tend to be slightly lighter as well. So if you want to build up your strength and your stamina, it's probably better if you use a boxing glove. 10 ounce boxing glove, 12 ounce boxing glove are fine for pad and bag work. I've even seen fighters, and I did it myself when I was fighting, I was using 18 ounce gloves on the pad and bag, just to build up strength and stamina. So these are the Top King Super Air boxing gloves. Just to go over and just to summarize them, they use 4 layers of foam. They have a breathable mesh, so you've just got that under the fingers and on the palm. That helps to dry the gloves out a little bit quicker. This part's padded down here as well, just gives a little bit more support, and you've got a full wraparound Velcro closure. Okay, if you've got any questions or you've got any comments about these gloves, just drop them in the comments below and I will speak to you next time. Thank you.